During a panel discussion arranged by Tigray Human Rights Advocacy Network, Dr. Tsegay Birhane, Associate Professor in International Law from Legal Aid, said he found the report by the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia more descriptive than that of the joint investigation report by the UN Human Rights Commission and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. Dr. Tsegay says the preliminary report by the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia has tried to examine the cause for the war in a broader way.
The narration in the previous report is that it starts from the attack of the Northern Command. The Northern Command attack. That was the center of the gravity of the narration. But the commissions of experts, it goes wider. It was wider. It tries to see the ethnicization of the problems, the politicization of the problems, even anti-Tigray ethnic slur. There was some kind of dehumanizing words. So it tries to contextualize it from the very beginning. So there is a difference in the narrations. That's a very important way. It tries to take it in totality.
Dr. Tsegay also says the report by the International Human Rights Commission experts on Ethiopia has come up with ample details that amount to genocide, but it failed to call it by its very name, genocide. Rather, the report indicated that the experts were convinced that war crimes and crimes against humanity were committed in Tigray.
I would establish a genocide intent in the report. Do you have some phrases that indicate that they were genocidal intent? I would say from the preliminary report there are some indications. For example, from the Ethiopian government, call for a siege in Tigray from all four sides to turn Tigray into Biafra. This is a typical, textbook example of genocide. So that is, you're going to make it a Biafra. That's genocidal. Then the road going from Addis Ababa to Tigray through Afar region is their oxygen. There is no way we will allow them to get to Tigray, and they know that. That's a genocidal. The Prime Minister, he denied that there is hunger in Tigray. Denial is also one of genocidal intent to me. The Fano, they were saying that we will destroy you. You don't belong here. We will not allow Tigray to exist anymore. That's a typical genocidal element.
Mebrahtu Futuwi from Tigray University Scholars Association also presented his comments on the report by the International Human Rights Commission experts on Ethiopia, where he says the report has presented the fact that the allied Eritrean and Ethiopian forces and the Fano vigilante groups have gang-raped Tigrayan women and humiliated them, saying they were purifying their blood. However, says Mebrahtu, the Commission should have called it genocide instead of war crime or crime against humanity, as it is a typical indicator of genocide.
In other cases, the attackers expressed an intent to render the victim infertile by permanently destroying their sexual and reproductive health. Previously, what we have seen is the acts. One, stress, mental and bodily harm. The other is preventing birth among the group. And the third one is creating a condition by which the protected group are eliminated. And the act that we have previously seen fulfills these requirements, the act requirement of the genocide.
Asked about why the UN agency in Addis Ababa refused to assist the International Commission of Human Rights experts on Ethiopia, Dr. Tsegay said that was an irony for him.
Even the irony is there was no cooperation by the UN agencies. The very agency established to preserve humanity, it was an obstacle. That is the irony. So I would say shame on the UN agencies.
Finally, participants of the panel discussion suggested the extension for the mandate of International Commission of Human Rights experts on Ethiopia and says the Commission should come to Tigray and practically examine the atrocities on the ground.
It's my strong belief that the methodology should be as exhaustive as possible. This is mandated by the UN, and the UN could create an access to any part of the world by the mandates that it has. And at least they should come to Tigray and arriving at a conclusion without, even though what they have collected, mainly in terms of secondary data, can enable them to arrive at such a conclusion and beyond. But I am deeply convinced that they should come to Tigray and elsewhere that they want to, and the UN should create an access to them.
Later on Friday, the United Nations approved the renewal of the mandate of the International Commission of Experts on Ethiopia.